Darius Slay. Big play Slay. The shutdown corner who made a living on an island, taking away the opponent's best weapon. A multiple-time Pro Bowler, a first-team All-Pro who once co-led the entire league in interceptions. For over a decade, he's been feared by quarterbacks and loved by fans. A master of his craft with the swagger to match. His signature finger wag is a warning shot to any receiver who dares to line up across from him. But the NFL doesn't do fairy tales.
The end is almost always brutal. For Slay, the back nine of his career hasn't been a gentle fade, but a roller coaster of soaring highs and gut-wrenching lows. It's the story of a player who got to the very brink of glory, only to have it snatched away, and then had to navigate the storm that followed. This is the story of how one of the league's best cornerbacks is facing his football mortality. To understand the turbulence, you have to appreciate the climb. Drafted in the second round back in 2013 by the Detroit Lions, Darius Slay wasn't an immediate superstar. His rookie year under head coach Jim Schwartz, a name that would pop up again later, was a trial by fire. But Slay had that rare mix of fluid hips, long arms, and an unteachable confidence. By his second season, he was a full-time starter, and by his third, offenses were actively scheming away from his side of the field. This was the birth of Big Play Slay. He wasn't just covering receivers, he was erasing them. The peak of his powers came in 2017. That season, Slay was simply untouchable. He put on a defensive masterclass, leading the NFL with a staggering 8 interceptions and 26 passes defended. He was named a first-team All-Pro and earned his first of 3 straight Pro Bowl trips with the Lions. He wasn't just a good corner, he was in the conversation for the best corner in the game. But Slay's relationship with the Lions front office, especially head coach Matt Patricia, began to break down. After years as the heart of Detroit's defense, Slay felt disrespected and wanted a contract that matched his elite status. When Detroit wouldn't pay up, the partnership was broken. In March of 2020, Slay got his wish. He was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a couple of draft picks and immediately inked a huge 3-year, $50 million extension. The message from the Eagles was loud and clear. We just got our true #1 corner. In Philly, he was reunited with defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, the same guy who was his head coach as a rookie. The change of scenery was perfect. Slay became an instant leader in the Eagles' locker room. In his first 3 seasons, he grabbed 2 more Pro Bowl selections and was voted a team captain for the first time in his career, an honor he called one of his biggest achievements. His swagger was still there, but now it was backed by the wisdom of a seasoned pro. In March of 2023, after a wild 24 hours where it looked like he might be released, the Eagles reversed course and signed him to a 2-year, $42 million extension to keep him in Philly. The 2022 season felt like destiny. Slay was the veteran anchor of one of the league's best defenses. The Eagles stormed through the NFC, and Slay, after a decade in the league, finally made it past the first round of the playoffs. He found himself on the biggest stage in American sports, Super Bowl LVII. But this is where the story takes its painful turn. In a heart-stopping shootout, the Eagles lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 38-35. Slay and his teammates were so close to the pinnacle, only to watch the confetti fall for the other team. He had reached the mountaintop but couldn't plant the flag. It was a devastating blow for a veteran who had waited his whole career for that moment. Coming off a Super Bowl loss, the Eagles entered the 2023 season on a mission, and for a while, they looked unstoppable, rocketing out to a 10-1 start. But then, the wheels didn't just get wobbly, they flew off entirely. The team suffered a historic collapse, losing 5 of their last 6 regular season games before being humiliated in the first round of the playoffs by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The defense, once a source of strength, fell apart, dropping from one of the best pass defenses to one of the worst. Slay, who turned 33 that season, battled a knee injury that required surgery and missed a chunk of time right in the middle of the freefall. The explosive first step seemed a fraction slower. The lockdown corner suddenly looked vulnerable, part of a defense that had no answers. So where does this leave Big Play Slay? His resume is undeniable. A first-team All-Pro, multiple Pro Bowls, and a reputation as a premier corner of his generation. He's the guy who got his big money deal and the respect that came with it. Yet, his story is a stark reminder of how quickly things can change in the NFL. Father Time is undefeated, and the fall from the peak is rarely gentle. He went from the Super Bowl to being part of a defensive meltdown in less than a year. Now, entering the later stages of his career, Slay faces a new challenge, proving the end of 2023 was a fluke, not the beginning of the end. The final chapter of his legacy is still being written, and the question remains, will Big Play Slay get one last chance to rewrite his painful ending?